Hi all, ChatGPT has finally come up with its own set of plugin for Excel. They're calling it as ChatGPT for Excel, and there are various data integrations possible as well. Now, the thing is that if you go through their press releases, one interesting thing that they are talking about is their internal investment banking benchmarks, and they are rating this GPT 5.4 thinking model as high as 0.873. And if I look at Claude Opus 4.6, which I've been playing around a lot, it does an exceptional job, by the way. So it's rated as 0.641. So for those who don't know me, I'm a founder of WallStreetMojo and have been in this industry for almost 20 years. As an ex-JP Morgan analyst, I've created almost hundreds and hundreds of financial models. And as a founder of WallStreetMojo, we keep on training students on financial modeling. So when this thing came, I had to know whether this does job for analysts or not. So let's get started. Today's agenda is very, very simple. I'll just try to test it out on a very basic thing, whether ChatGPT for Excel plugin can create a very basic three-statement financial model as claimed in the benchmarks, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and open one blank Excel sheet and give a very basic prompt today and see, how the results are. And, then we can discuss. The whole idea is that if it does this basic job correctly, I'll then move on to the next phase, which I'll bring it in the next set of videos where I'll discuss more advanced stuff with ChatGPT plugin and see if that does the job or not and how helpful it can be for the analyst, right? So the key takeaway is that this is what we're going to do. And if it does the job, why not, right? So here is the thing that ChatGPT for Excel is not available for free. So it basically comes with the paid plans. So if you are on plus and above plan, you will get access to this. And how do you install this? It's kind of very simple. You just click on this ChatGPT for Excel plugin and it will be redirected to this plugin where you can install for Excel. And the installation process is very, very simple. You just press next, and give your login IDs for Microsoft Excel, and then it will come something like this. So within this home, you will find there's this plugin like ChatGPT. So like how Claude sits in your home key, this is how it will look like. So here it is. You can see that ChatGPT interface is going to be like this. Again, a few things that you must note once you log in. Once you are here on this blank sheet, you're expected to kind of log in and connect these accounts. So kind of pretty straightforward, right? And then it gives you access to different types of models here, like fast, standard, and heavy. So I presume that this three-statement financial model won't be heavy, right? Because this is a blank, very basic financial model which we want ChatGPT to create, right? So what I'll do is, without wasting much time, I'll just write a quick prompt, and we'll see how the output comes out to be, how much time it takes, and from quality point of view, does this really make sense or not? So I'm going to write this prompt. Let's get started. Okay, create a simple three-statement financial model containing the following. Okay, so all right, so let me edit this. Containing the following. One is 2 years historical. Second, I would need is 5 years of forecast. All right. And provide me with the balance sheet, cash flows, income statement in different tabs. Okay. A three-statement financial model for a dummy company. Okay. So, it can be not sector specific. We can always test it out later. Dummy company, right? And different tabs. Assumptions should be neatly laid out, and all the three statements should be linked as per the IB standard. So that's a standard way of modeling. So that's why I'm just reminding ChatGPT that IB standards needs to be followed. Follow appropriate color coding. So blue for constants, and black for, sorry, black for formulas, and green for links across different tabs, right? And what else? I think this should be enough. Maybe, we would need an explanation, explain the model in the end. Okay. So this is what a very basic prompt is. As you can see here, that this has nothing to do with any company specific financial model. I just wanted to see if it does the job or not. All right, so let's press enter and see what it does. So two things, it's already going into that thinking mode. So and we can also see the timing counter as well. So we'll come to know, how long it takes to create this financial model. And yeah, so it has divided this whole creation process into different steps, like 0 5 tasks. I'll come to that task, but before that, let's kind of discuss this. Allow ChatGPT to edit your spreadsheet. Of course, you will have to allow. So there are two ways: always allow or allow for this chat. So I'll keep this as allow for this chat. I don't want it to do it across other worksheets which I'm looking at. Okay, so I'll just press this one, and you can see that it has created some sheets, right? Assumption sheet, income statement, balance sheets, cash flows. Okay, so that sounds interesting with some color coding. Now, let's do one more thing. Let's see what type of task it's trying to complete, right? So here it is. So here there are 5 tasks, and the tasks that it has understood from that very basic prompt is something like this: create statements, right? An assumption tabs with clean structure. The structure is yet to come. So let's see. Populate assumptions and historical financial data, wire forecast formulas across all 3 statements, apply IB style formatting and color coding, verify linkage, balance sheets, and cash flow integrity. So, as far as this understanding of my prompt goes, I think it has done an exceptional job in terms of identifying the tasks which it needs to do, and how it needs to be done, right? So, this whole process is taking some time, as I can see that, right? So I mean, it's always good to kind of follow what it's doing, so that you get a better understanding of how things are getting created within ChatGPT. But I suspect that this is going to take some time for ChatGPT to uh, kind of take it ahead. So it's saying the structure is in place. Now I'm loading assumptions and seeding. Maybe it's kind of moving from step number 0, I mean that first one, to the second one. So as you can see here, right, so I can see that it's already started creating some assumptions, right? So here it is, revenue in terms of growth. At this stage, it's showing me in decimals. So let's see, formatting wise, how it does that job a bit later, right? And let's say income statement. All right. So income statement as well, it has started populating. Um, okay, revenue, cost of goods sold, gross margins, gross profit, gross margins, operating expenses, EBITDA. So far, so good. Seems good to me. Balance sheet. Okay, so since this is considered to be a very basic example, I do see that it has created balance sheet as well. Total assets is equal to total liabilities. It's doing this balance sheet integrity check as well. Okay, this sounds good. Obviously, it will need a lot of formatting, but I'm assuming that it's going to do that subsequently in the next set of steps, right? So, as far as this data goes, it has already populated. That's kind of quick, right? Um, I wanted this in percentage. Okay, so it started formatting this as well. So maybe it's kind of applying this IB style formatting and color coding. Okay, this sounds interesting. This is how I usually do that as well. A for actuals and E for forecasts, right? The estimates, okay? And you can see that it has done that formatting which I was asking for, right? So something like the blue for the constants, and black for the formulas, right? And if there is anything that is cross-linked, it has to be in green. So as I can see here in cash flows, things or items which are coming from the income statement or the other tabs, it's already in green. So as I can see here, Okay. All right. So according to ChatGPT, it has finished this financial model. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So let me just go through this, what exactly it has done, and I will, do the quick validation right away. So it has built this three-statement financial model, loaded 2 years and 5 years of forecast, applied the requested colors. Okay. Right. And then assumption logic, depreciation, amortization, EBITDA, all of that logic is there. Balance the balance sheet. All right. So let's now look at each and every part of it. Okay. And let's get started with the assumption sheet here. Okay. So I think this is an impressive job. Growth revenues, 9%, 10%, 9%, 8%. All right. So I do see cost of goods sold. Perfect. I mean, see, these assumptions are immaterial at this stage. As I said, just create this three statement financial model. And this account receivables days, inventory, accounts payables, these are all in days. That's correct. Tax rate 25%, interest rate 5.5. Debt has been taken as a percentage of the overall debt. So that's debt amortization has been taken as a overall percentage of debt. Dividend payout is also given as 10%. So I think this assumption sheet looks reasonable to me. Because it's a basic financial model. Obviously, when it comes to complex financial models, I would done a much better job in terms of assumptions. It's not as simple as this. But now let's move on to the income statement and check if it is correct or not. Okay. So here is it, right? So the revenue, and then we can see that the revenue is basically equal to previous year multiplied by 1 plus the assumption, that is C6, right? So here, what is C6? C6 is the revenue growth rate. So income statement revenues seems to be absolutely fine. Now, one thing which I could have probably done is, this gross profits are actually calculated numbers. So I usually tend to do something like this, where I put this as a formula instead of, putting this as a number. Something like this is what I do, but fair enough. I mean, just to give it a benefit of doubt, that's fine, that you can keep this as constant as well, like the way it has been done here. Okay. Gross margins, I could have actually shown that as a formula. But anyways, it's all right. I think let's just double check if this is same as the calculated number. Yes, it does show that it's the same number. All right. So as far as this whole historical data goes, I'll assume that it's fine. Let's now quickly check the forecast numbers, the income statement, right? So cost of goods sold is percentage of revenue, and percentage of revenue is 58%. So that's how it is calculated. Wow, that's nice. Gross profit, perfect. Revenue minus cost of goods sold, gross margins, operating expenses. Again, the assumptions are coming directly from here. So that is 20% of the sales. Um, Depreciation amortization is where exactly is that? Yeah, here they have. So yeah, of course, after gross profit, operating expenses are reduced, and then we have the EBITDA, and we get the EBITDA margin. And then we have the depreciation, which is equal to minus of the assumptions here. I think this is also fine. And how about the capital expenditure? Capital expenditure will go in the cash flow statement, so we don't need to worry here about it. We get EBIT, and then we have the earnings before taxes. All right, and then we have the taxes here. Okay, let's see how this formula works. My max of 0, comma D16 multiplied by assumption. Okay, yeah, so fine. I think this also is working absolutely fine. In fact, it's doing a great job. Yeah, and net income, net margins, net margins. Okay, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, it's also giving a interesting formula that it doesn't want to give you a net margin, which is, it leads to some kind of error. So, yeah, perfect. I think it makes a lot of sense. So, as far as the income statement due diligence goes, it has done a absolutely wonderful job. Now, let's now quickly do this validation of the balance sheet as well. So, let's see. First thing I want to check is whether the historical balance sheets are balanced. Yeah, they are. And what I also see is that the balance sheet for the future years, that is the forecasted years, is also balanced. Okay, this sounds good. Now let me come to the interesting part as to how the forecast has been done, right? So here accounts receivables. What do we see here? Account receivables is 35 days, account receivables days, right? So yeah, let me see the formula here in the balance sheet. Income statement, that is revenue, right? So D5 will be revenue here. This is multiplied by assumption, that is how many days was it? 45 days divided by 365. Oh, wonderful. This is also good in terms of calculation. Inventory, again, I assume this is what it has done, but inventory is actually linked to cost. So you can see here D6, it's kind of linked to costs, right? And it will come with a minus sign, and then it has a minus sign. Wow. Property, plant, and equipment. So how it has been done. Okay, so this will be interesting. Let's kind of understand this. This is C8. This is the previous year's number, right? Minus the cash. I mean, this is depreciation. Okay, let's see. This is depreciation here. 13. All right. Balance sheet. So since we are trying to find out the net PPE, what's happening is previous year's property, plant, and equipment plus capital expenditure, which I presume is found here, right? And this is D12, right? So D12 will be capital expenditure, correct? And then, yeah, so I think depreciation is reduced. Perfect. I think this is also good. And I think this is exactly the formula. I was just trying to check if there is anything which it has kind of hard coded or punched manually, because usually I have seen, the older models did that and led to, issues. Here again, let's now look at accounts payables. Again, the same analogy goes here. What about long-term debt? So previous year's debt plus the cash flow. So we'll have to kind of investigate the cash flows as well. Here, debt amortization is as we saw here, right? It was 10%. So 10% of the previous year. So it makes sense. Debt amortization. And what else? So we get this long-term debt, that is total liability. Shareholders' equity is previous year's. Retained earnings will be previous year's retained earnings plus the income statement, net income minus the dividends. So let's see. The cash flow D16, that should be dividends, right? Yeah, it's dividends. Okay. So this is also fine, and total liabilities come out to be the sum total of these two, and balance sheet is balancing. Wow, amazing. This is something, at least the simple part, the simple model seems to be on track. So I presume all of these future numbers will be same because they have all the very same links, right? Now let's go to the final check, because this cash flow numbers, this is the actual main part which comes at the very last of step of financial modeling. Okay, so I want to check if this calculation here is as per the desired IB format, because sometimes uh, some models actually punch in numbers in order to make sure that it balances. So I just wanted to check this as well. Okay, so here we have the net income, and this is indirect method of calculating the cash flow statements. So let's see how is the changes in accounts receivables. Also, this is coming from a different tab. This could have been green color coded, but I think the prompt assumed that this is a formula as well, so maybe it assumed that it has to be given in black. I would have taken this as green, but anyways, this is a minor hiccup. No worries. Change in inventory and change in cash accounts payables. So this will give me cash flow from operations. Capital expenditure we have linked from the revenue and the assumption sheet. Okay, so this becomes investing, debt amortization, dividends. So we get this cash flow from financing. So ultimately, this net change in cash is the sum total of these three, right? So this is operations, investing, and financing. Okay, so we get this as beginning cash, which is taken, I presume, from here. Okay, so all right. I think cash flow statement is also fine, right? So I think, in terms of creating this dummy financial model, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Congratulations, ChatGPT. You've done an amazing job in terms of creating this three-statement financial model from scratch, fully balanced with all the formulas and with the basic instruction which I gave you. You were able to create this financial model, and I like it a lot. All right, ChatGPT, I am impressed with the way you have done or created this financial model. Say if 10 was the perfect score, I would have given you 8 to 8.5 for this financial model, because I started with a very basic prompt and it was still able to create this financial model from scratch. I mean, the beauty was that even though I audited it fully, it had zero errors here. I would have loved to format this a bit more professionally, which obviously there is scope. You can just quickly, put in more context here and kind of, advise ChatGPT to format this much more. But yeah, given the scope of that prompt, it did an excellent job. So 8 to 8.5 from my side. So I hope you liked this video. It was a kind of interesting thing for me as well, kind of personal, because I want people to learn financial modeling in the most efficient way possible. And that's our mission. And with ChatGPT and tools like this, it has become incredibly powerful as well. All right. So if you have liked this video, please do press the like button and subscribe to our channel, and make sure that you click on that bell icon as well, so that when we release these subsequent videos, you will be the first one to get informed about it. So in the next video, we are going to stress test a bit more, and I'll not make this prompt as easy as this. Maybe we'll test it on a difficult financial model to see if it can do the exact job or not. So as far as the foundation goes, it seems absolutely fine. And I'll see you in the next video.